Pirates fight for Old Southwestern, for alma mater dear. Pirates fight for Old Southwestern. To Southwestern will be loyal to the sun from the sky, and remember to the end that a fight will never die. Pirates fight, yeah we win. Ay. Pirates fight, whoa, to the end. Whoa, Pirates fight, yeah we win. Ay. Pirates fight, yeah, to the end. Whoa, to the end.
And good evening, everybody. Welcome back to SU Football Weekly here at the beautiful Georgetown Sheraton, Jack's Lounge. My name is Merle Bertrand, joined once again by head coach Joe Austin, our producer, Mr. Jack Farrell, Christina Weber-Bertrand, our QA tonight. Coming up tonight on the show, we'll hear from senior defensive end Malik McDonald and senior defensive tackle Joseph Nielsen. That'll be a little bit later in the show. I want to thank a couple of our sponsors, including Antioch of Georgetown, Baylor Scott and White Healthcare, Chapel Realty Group, Chisholm Trail Pediatrics, Don Hewlett Buick and Chevrolet, Double Dave's Pizza, Eagles Wings Home Improvement Services, First Texas Bank, and Gary Brown CPA. Well, it's one thing to watch a team that's either so good you know they're going to blow a team away, or so bad you know they're going to get smoked. You guys will give us whiplash. You saw a little bit of both on Saturday afternoon, some really good signs and some moments where they just kind of shot themselves in the foot a little bit. A fun game to watch, except for the scoreboard. But your thoughts on the 31-7 loss against Rhodes College?
There was things we did well and things we didn't do so well. On let's just start with defense. Our first and second down defense was pretty good throughout most of the game.
Right.
Our problems was on third and fourth down, and then our second problem is that we continue to have major breakdowns where we just let people go. Where the defensive players just don't do what they're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. They don't do what they're trained to do. We're trying to figure out the way to rectify that in a hurry. So those were our issues. But first and second down defense was pretty darn good. We got them into third down a lot. So they're still, we're going to see good highlights, some things we did right. Nice. On offense, it was not a very good day for our offensive line or our wide receivers. It was a very good day for our running backs, and Jalen Spriggs at quarterback put the ball right where he needed to be all day. And so it was some good performances, some not so good performances. We caught a little bit of bad luck on special teams, as we'll see on the highlights. There was a punt we didn't catch that bounced backwards and hit one of our guys and gave him an extra possession at the beginning of the third period. So yeah, there were some breaks that didn't go our way, but we didn't do enough and consistently in that game on Saturday.
Yeah, it seemed like we talked about a couple of weeks ago, every time something bad would happen, it would happen at a really bad time. You guys had gotten the big stop, forced them to punt, and then that weird thing happened on the punt return. And it seems like you can't get away with having something bad happen and just having it go away. It seems to blow up in your face every time something bad happens.
Yeah, that was a tough break, and give Rhodes credit, they capitalized on it.
Right.
Just like their quarterback played better than we'd ever seen him play, especially on third down. He made some really good throws. Sometimes you got to tip your hat to him, but we could have done better. We could have done better with our coverage. Maybe gotten home a little bit more under pressures, a little bit faster. Plenty of things to work on. So good and bad, and that's what our players are seeing in film. There's some really good things that we can build on, and some things that we got to get smoothed out. We got to be more consistent with.
Well, you talked about the film, so let's take a look at some of the film here from Saturday afternoon's game from Memphis, Tennessee. Take it away, Jack.
All right, so I think we're going to get this is a coach's film, so we're going to get to see both views, and it's going to give me a little bit more of an opportunity to talk about what's going on. So this is our first defensive possession, and it's going to be a 3-and-out, which is great to start a game with a defensive 3-and-out. Good defensive coverage there by DJ James. In fact, our free safety Cameron Willis Robertson, who had 3 picks last week, got over there too, and they probably each cost each other an interception.
Right.
If just one of them had been there, probably either one of them could catch it. But it's good to have 2 players there. Good to start the game with a nice 3. And actually, it wasn't Cam. It was Jamarcus Ross who got over there. We rotated our coverage. So Jamarcus, Ross, and DJ James both combined on that. 2 3-and-outs for our offense. We didn't get off to a quick start at all offensively. In fact, we didn't score till towards the end of the second quarter. And this is what I'm talking about. This is just a complete bust. Our weak side linebacker has the running back out of the backfield. he just completely lets them go, and it's a score. And we're always trying to figure out as coaches, what we can do to get this out of what we're doing defensively, but it continues to rear its head. We give up a lot of points on one-play drives, not because they did anything special. We have a player to cover that. He just didn't do it. So we've got to figure out how we can coach it better, how we can train it, and there's going to continue to be opportunities for personnel to continue to change as we go through. Jalen Spriggs put the ball right where it needed to be all game. We had probably 5 or 6 drives by our wide receivers. Our wide receivers only had 4 catches for 44 yards, but our running backs did well. This is another freshman running back, Leroy Rodriguez, who got his first significant time with Sam LeBleu out, and he did a really good job. This is the very next play, a nice 11-yard run for Leroy. In fact, his teammates voted him as the offensive player of the game. I mentioned our running backs played well. They accounted for 76% of our total yards.
Wow, yeah.
They really did a nice job running and passing. So we've got a nice drive going. And unfortunately, it ends here with a fumble by Devin Phillips. And that's how our third drive ended. We didn't get going on our first 2. Our third drive, we had some really nice plays strung together, and we gave the ball back to them. We've got to hang on to the football and finish those drives with points. Defense is obviously back out there, and as I mentioned, our first and second down defense was pretty darn good for most of the game. Here it doesn't quite count as a sack because it's a no gain, but we covered him really well downfield. When he stepped up, our linebackers were able to converge. Nice even pass rush. It's going to be Alec Gomez, our middle linebacker, just sitting there spying the quarterback. And it's a no gain. Jason Lund also getting in on that. So very good first and second down defense. Beginning of second quarter now, Rhodes is able to get the ball down the field. And a really nice play to hold this to a field goal. That is Jake Sefcik, the freshman linebacker who got the play. We mentioned that Blaine Corkin, our normal linebacker, weak side linebacker, was out in the first half. He had a targeting suspension from last week. So several young guys got a chance to play. Jake got a chance to play pretty much all the first half. Did a nice job on second down. This is going to be third down on the same drive. This is one of our better third down plays because we're going to hold Rhodes to a field goal on this. Good pressure, and there's Joe Nielsen, who's going to be on the show, coming up with the sack, forcing fourth down. Nicely done. So Joe's number 97 there, playing that right defensive tackle spot. Joe's able to push the guard back, push the quarterback to the left, and make the play. Nicely done.
Definition of the bull rush.
That's right. So we're 10-0 now, and we're getting a little bit later in the second quarter. Jalen Spriggs puts around the money for Dugan Sexton. Dugan had I think 2, maybe 3 of our 4 receiver catches. Right. What's not on here is a number of opportunities we had for big plays that went for naught. We had several opportunities on downfield throws where the ball was put right where it needed to be, and we were unable to come up with grabs for big plays, for third down conversions, things like that. First down defense, good pass rush. Alec Gomez is getting there with a man in his face, forces the incompletion. The big theme to repeat it was our first and second down defense was pretty darn stout. And this is a nice job by Alec to insert and put a nice, clean, legal hit on their quarterback.
And help him up.
Yeah, and force them into the throw with pressure. This is another first down defensive play. We were very efficient on first down. Good run defense.
Run defense felt good all afternoon from what I saw.
Well, when we were where we were supposed to be,
right.
We did a nice job with it. The problem was we weren't always where we were supposed to be. That's Liam Phelan playing the weak side backer position, making the nice tackle for loss. They're inching it down the field a little bit, but we're going to stop them on this drive. This is another nice first down defensive play. And it's actually going to be an interception. This is just a pass breakup. A nice job by Quincy to get his hand up on that. He was right in phase, meaning he was right where he's supposed to be relative to the wide receiver all the way downfield. Both of our corners that took over those spots a few weeks ago are doing really, really well. We had DJ James on the show last week. He had a nice game last week and got on the show for the field goal return. Quincy Nevins is a freshman who started the last 2 games, was very solid. His teammates elected him to be the defensive player of the game. And here's the interception. Reads the route, reads the quarterback, steps underneath it. And this turnover is going to turn into Pirate points. And you love to see those turnovers turn into points. This is a really nice job by Quincy, who's doing a really good job as a young player. He earned that spot a few weeks ago and is definitely performing. This was our best drive of the game. Bang, bang, bang. We moved it right down the field. Nice throw to Sam Johnson with a nice little run after the catch for 16 yards. Sam has been very reliable. Another freshman that's making a lot of really key contributions, really consistent contributions all year long. And again, Jalen just put the ball where it needed to be. He threw the ball away when he needed to throw it away. Gave us the opportunity for some really nice big plays down the field. There's a run fake by Jalen that opens up a wheel route down the sideline to Christian Reeves. As you can see, our running backs were involved in the run game, but also in the pass game. And we got some good contributions. You mentioned Leroy Rodriguez. This is Christian Reeves, who had a really nice drive. This drive in particular had the big catch down the sideline. And then I believe this is the very next play. Christian's going to run it in. We're going to run counter to the right. We're going to pull both the guard and tackle and the H-back action. We're bringing a lot of people to the front side, and Christian's into the end zone. We're about a minute and a half left in the half, and now it's a 10-7 football game.
Yeah, my mom was watching the game with me and said, now just don't give up another score before halftime. I guess I jinxed it.
Well, that's a mismatched clip. I didn't know that got put on there. But that was the score right before the half, I believe. Here it is. They snuck the tight end across the formation, and we didn't stay with our guy. You put this in the column of just not doing what you're supposed to do. We have a guy assigned to that tight end. You can see him chasing, and he saw the squirrel, and he chased the squirrel.
Right, yeah.
You can't chase the squirrel. You can't eat the eye candy. So we cut it to 3, and then we gave it back. They missed the extra point, so it's a 9-point game, 16-7 at halftime. We come out, defense does what we want them to do, force the 3 and out, and then that's bad luck. Now our punt returner, this is Vance Mills is a young guy. He's a freshman. He started the season 4th on the depth chart in punt returning. He's got to come up and get this one.
Right.
It's just the way it is in the college football game. That can't bounce in front of him. It turned into bad luck for us. But that's a play that Vance can make, and he'll learn from that, and I think that'll be the last that we'll see of that. Vance is a capable player for us. And unfortunately, this is our turnover that turns into points for them. Our first one, our defense was able to mitigate, and they didn't get points off of that, I don't believe. But on this one, off of the bad luck on the bounce on the punt, they squeaked through there. We had a chance. And we didn't quite get it on that one. So that's extended it. And in the rest of the half, we had some really nice chunk plays. They were just a little bit sporadic. There's Christian Reeves out of the backfield again. The ball's right where it needs to be. That's a pretty consistent thing, right? I keep mentioning that. When the opportunities to make a throw were there, Jalen did a really good job of making all the throws that were there for him. And so our running backs, again, had a really solid day. They didn't get the level of blocking they got in the Birmingham Southern game.
Right.
And they still were pretty efficient, over 5 yards per touch. And then in the pass game, they made a pretty darn good impact. Off of play action, this is a throw to Dugan Sexton on 3rd down for an important conversion, getting us down deep into the red zone. An important 3rd down conversion because we're probably just outside of field goal range here. And, we went for it with a throw rather than trying to run it in. So we ran it down to the 1-yard line with Devin Phillips. And we had, this is our second opportunity to get it in from, I can't, inches. I mean, barely even inches.
I can't believe they didn't call this a touchdown. I mean, how do you not call it a touchdown when it's that close?
Well, you got to push them. You got to push them in. And we weren't able to push it in. They pushed harder than we pushed. It just comes down to a Jimmy Joe play. Our Jimmies are pushing their Joes, and we went with it twice, And then on third down, we need, that didn't work, so let's go with a little something different. And they just come right through us, and they push us backwards. So 3 not good plays from the 1 yard line, the tight goal line. And on the next play, unfortunately, I don't remember if it's on here or not, to finish not a great sequence from our offensive line's perspective, we give up inside pressure and we give up a block.
Right.
On a kick, of course, Charlie puts it right there every time. It's going to go through. That was a disappointing sequence offensively, to have it at the couple-inch line and not being able to just use our strength to push it in, and then to give up the penetration on third down and penetration on the field goal. That was a tough one. Another nice defensive play, interception there by DJ James. He baited the quarterback on this one.
Right.
He let him. This is a cover 3, meaning there's a safety in the middle, 2 corners on the outside, and the quarterback thought he had a guy running down the seam, and DJ was right in the position he needed to be. And when the ball was thrown, he did a great job of coming in front of it. So I think we're very happy with the 2 starts at corner we've gotten from DJ James and from Quincy Nevins, who both had an interception in this game. They both did some nice things. Good run here from Devin Phillips. We inherited the ball off of the interception inside of our own 5, and we immediately crack a nice 20-yard run, one of our better block plays of the game by our offensive line. And we continue to get some big chunks. There's Sam Johnson out of the backfield. The ball's right where it needs to be again for another 22, 23-yard play, taking it from our 5-yard line out towards midfield. But those chunks were just too few and far between.
Right.
We just weren't able to be consistent enough when we weren't getting those chunk runs and passes. There's another nice chunk coming in our running game. This is Devin Phillips again. Dominic Davila, 89, is in there at tight end. This was a game that schematically really set up nicely for us to play with our tight end. And so I thought Dominic had an opportunity to get quite a few snaps in that tight end role, and he did a good job. He graded out really well, and he came through for us. It was a week where we could benefit from having a tight end in the game, and I want to make sure Dominic gets some love. He did a good job. After our drive stalls, this is a really nice play on the screen pass. Early down defense was pretty good, and here our third down defense was good, but they come back on 4th down and they extend the drive after we get a third down stop. They're feeling, I think Rhodes is feeling the fact that if they can get one more, they can probably put it out of reach. They did a great job of playing slow and controlling the clock and minimizing our possessions and and icing us a little bit. So after that 4th down conversion, this would be the nail in the coffin that makes it a 3-score game plus a little bit. 2-point conversions can maybe factor in. They've got us in man coverage, a nice throw and catch. There was a lot of throws by their quarterback on 3rd and 4th down that he did a really, really good job on. We probably could have covered some of them tighter, but he played as well. I shouldn't say as well. He played better than we'd ever seen him play on film.
Right.
It was his best game of the season. His best game of the season by far. We're getting down towards the end, but a really nice job by Jalen to find Leroy Rodriguez down the middle. And this is a play action pass where we fake. I don't know why the film's so wide now. This is their film. There we go. Zoom her in there a little bit, gentlemen. We're going to sneak our running back right down the middle as if he's going to block. Some pressure in Jalen's face and off his back foot. He just drops it down there. What a really nice play under pressure to put that thing right down the middle. That was our last chunk. You can cut up some offensive highlights, can't you?
Sure. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
The problem was it was a play forward, a play back, a play forward, a play back. We just weren't able to finish drives. And you got to give some credit to Rhodes for stopping us in those situations, and you got to give them credit for their execution on third downs. I think we could have played it a little bit tighter at times, but they completed a lot of passes on third down. They were right around 75% or so on 3rd and 4th down.
Right. Yeah.
That's tough. That's tough.
And a lot of times it was 3rd and long. It wasn't like a 3rd and 1
It
kind
was.
of deal.
It was. And they made some good calls. We were mixing up, trying to bring pressure and trying to drop 8 and play coverage and play zone and pressure them. There was one time where we called a drop 8 and they ran a quarterback draw. They
Right.
called it perfect. They couldn't have had a better call. If we had chosen to go pressure on that one, maybe it works out different. They had a good day on third down, and they made it tough on us.
Well, you talked about Jalen Springs. You look at his numbers; they're not that great. But you talked about it just seemed like there were a lot of drop passes. Guys that were open, 9 times out of 10, probably 95 times out of 100, they make the catch and just couldn't hang on to the football. That could have flipped things a little bit differently too.
Yeah, there was one curl throw that we didn't watch here, obviously, that he was off a little bit on. Everything else was really darn good. He gave us a chance to catch a lot of passes that we didn't hold on to. Some of them were contested. They're DBs. We threw a post to Vance Mills. A 50-50 ball. We could have probably made it a 70-30 if we'd stopped a little bit and came up for it. But he put it where it needed to be really, really consistently, and I thought he did a really nice job. And that's where statistics can be misleading. If there's 3, 4, 5, 6 drops, then your percentage, your completion percentage goes down. But he certainly was not our issue.
The one thing that kept popping into my mind watching the game, and you were talking about it here, is the number of times I heard you mention the word freshman, especially on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
I know it's frustrating because you want to get the wins now, but how encouraging is it knowing that you've got that kind of young talent that's coming up and getting all these snaps this early in their collegiate career?
Well, we are at a position where we can win more games this year, and we will win more games this year. And it's going to be a combination of our older players and some really talented young guys that are getting opportunities because they're earning those opportunities, and a lot of them are taking advantage of those opportunities.
Right.
They're working their way up the depth chart, and when they get their opportunity, they're not giving it up. They're playing well. Jalen's 2 starts, he hasn't turned the ball over. He's done really well. And there's other players. Sam Johnson earned that H-back role. We've talked about him every week being really solid. We mentioned Quincy Nevins at corner. So it's not, we are talking about it, or we end up talking about freshmen a lot because it's unique to have so many. But there's still a lot of good older players, especially in the box on defense. We've got some really, really good seniors. We've had both of our inside linebackers on. I think we'll have all those defensive linemen on. We've had several on. 2 are going to be on tonight. So we're still getting some really key contributions from some veteran players. But it is good to be sprinkling in and having emergence of some young talent that, what you're asking me is basically, if you extrapolate, is it fun to look ahead? Well, we're not looking ahead yet, but certainly, as coaches, you can still extrapolate and say, yeah, there's some guys where, we've got something here. We've got some really good young players.
Well, anything else you wanted to add about Rhodes that you haven't touched on yet, or are you good to go?
No, I'm good to go, man. Let's move forward.
All right, we will do just that. We'll take a break, be back for quarter number 2 coming up. In the second quarter, it's going to be one of those seniors the coach just talked about. That would be senior defensive end Malik McDonald coming up. This is SU Football Weekly on the Vype Live Network. And we welcome you back to Jack's Lounge inside the beautiful Georgetown Sheraton for quarter number 2 of SU Football Weekly. And before we get to our next guest, I want to thank some more of our sponsors. John F. Lewis CPA, Mighty Fine Burgers, Fries, and Shakes, Minuteman Press, Primerica Financial Solutions, Rudy's Barbecue, and Schlotsky's of Georgetown. My mom is visiting from Illinois. She's here in the crowd tonight. She said the same thing I did. Every time I watch one of these shows, I always get hungry because of all the food sponsors. So it runs in the family, apparently. Well, as Coach and I just talked about, it is good to kind of look ahead and get an eye on some of the young talent, but we sometimes kind of take for granted some of the senior veterans and even the junior veterans that we have here on the Southwestern Pirates, and that would include the gentleman to my right, senior defensive end Malik McDonald. Malik, introduce yourself. Where are you from? All that kind of stuff.
Well, I'm from Dallas, Texas, born in Oklahoma City, actually, so, yeah. Kind of boring.
When did you move down to Dallas? How long did you make the escape from Oklahoma?
That was for my last 2 years of high school, so my junior and senior year of high school.
Okay. Well, you mentioned that you were born in Oklahoma, played high school at Mesquite Horn High School, which is in the DFW area. We talk about high school football up there. We talked to some of the other guys about that sort of regional rivalry between Houston and Dallas and San Antonio and Austin. Well, talk about your perspective on it coming from the DFW area.
Okay, so a lot of the teammates aren't going to like what I say here. Dallas,
they're not here. That's okay.
By far has the best football in all of high school. So we have like pretty much all of the top schools in Dallas that play at a pretty high level. So
your dorm room locks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good. Well, what was it that attracted you to Southwestern?
Honestly, I didn't know much about the school at the time. Like during the recruiting process, I had our defensive coordinator, Coach Kriesel. He had eventually came out to the school. I was receiving some letters and stuff, and I had to talk with him. I came on a visit, and that's when I kind of learned about the school and stuff like that. Yep.
Well, you're a senior now. You came in, I guess, during the COVID year. But other than that, or even including that, talk about your experience here at Southwestern. How's that met your expectations coming in?
Well, the first 2 years were kind of a struggle, just kind of adjusting to college, especially with COVID coming in. We kind of lost a lot of community aspects in terms of that, just because all the distancing and staying away from each other. So, like my junior year and senior year, just me trying to get better knowledge of people, get to know people better, and form more of a community around campus and stuff like that.
Well, a lot of the things that Chuck Tracy and I talked to some of the other guys about, your teammates about, is the difference academic-wise between high school and college, and having to sort of step up a little bit, not in terms of just the grades, but just the amount of work involved. Talk about that a little bit.
For me, high school was really easy and simple for me. I didn't really have to try too hard in high school. So I had like a harder adjustment when it came to college, like the course load, doing all the work and just staying on top of it. And I'm starting to get a lot better at it, time management and stuff like that.
Right.
But the first year or two was a struggle for me in terms of like I had to learn how to actually study. I didn't actually know how to study. So, yeah.
You spent all your time running around the campus, drinking milk from the carton and running around with scissors and all that kind of stuff that you couldn't do at home?
Yeah, of course.
Pretty much?
Of course.
Oh, good. Talk about your position a little bit, the defensive end. Is that what you played in high school?
Yes, sir. I did.
Okay.
So, I really love it. It's fun.
Well, it always struck me as a tough position to play, because sometimes you have to act like a lineman, sometimes you almost have to act like a linebacker, sometimes even drop back in coverage on rare occasions. Is that an accurate description? What is it that you like about it?
Well, I haven't had to drop back in coverage. I wish, so I can get some interceptions. But it's pretty demanding on the body, I'd say the least. A lot of people would say it's a pretty simple on the mind in terms of what you have to do, but it's pretty demanding on the body. You have to be pretty physical every play. So,
what's your least favorite part about it?
I don't really have a part that I don't like about playing defensive end. Yeah. Well,
that's good to know. You mentioned you came in the shortened COVID season. You played a couple of games, worked your way into more playing times the sophomore, and then the start of last year and this year. Given how much more difficult it is being a student athlete in college, all the work that you got to do, how hard is it to just kind of keep grinding when you're doing all that work, putting in all that time, losing all that sleep, and you're not getting the playing time that you were used to getting in high school?
Well, when I first came in, I didn't play a lot. I didn't expect to play a lot my freshman year, just because there's older guys and stuff like that, so you can't really expect to play, but you have those aspirations and you have to have the drive to go and work towards that. So that's what my dad always instilled in me, was to work hard for everything and don't expect anything to just be given to you. So that was kind of what I went through and how I thought about it during my first year. And then I finally got the green light to play more in my second year, and then I took over my third year to where I am now. So that's really all. It's just hard work,
So you kind of had that mindset and those expectations coming in.
Yeah.
Well, that probably helped a little bit. What are your thoughts on the season so far? Not the record you guys won, obviously, but, we've seen some good stuff on the highlights throughout the year. It's right there for you guys. What are your thoughts on the season so far?
Well, to say the least, it's been pretty frustrating so far. But in terms of, like, the good things, we have a bunch of guys with, like, good heads on their shoulders and kind of think in a positive mindset. We probably need to go ahead and have another, like, senior meeting to just figure things out and get everybody together. But right now, I think what we need the most right now is just more leadership within the players, just to trying to get everybody on track and see where everyone's head's at in terms of what they want to do and how they see us progressing and how we can come together and make things finally mesh, because we've only been able to get it to mesh for one game so far. So.
Well, Coach said just a moment ago, and I agree with him, that he expects the team to win some more games, and I'm sure you and the other guys do. So, in addition to just getting some more wins, what do you still hope to accomplish on the football field?
Well, for me, one of my bigger goals was I was a conference player last year, so I want to try and keep that trend going and have another year like that. But it doesn't mean much to me without the success of the team.
Right.
So that's just what I'm looking forward to the most, is just getting back on track and getting in the win column.
What are some of the things that you like to do away from the field when you're not in the classroom, you're not out in the football field?
When I have time, I nap. And if I'm not napping, I'm probably just hanging out in my room or with friends, watching football, stuff like that. Just simple stuff.
Yeah. What's one thing that people don't know about you that you never admitted before?
If you're close to me, you'll know, or if I'm, like, really comfortable with you, I'm really goofy. like it's bad. I'm really goofy. But not a lot of people see the side of me because I just have to be comfortable with you. I'm kind of shy sometimes, but
right.
Yeah.
You're not shy in the football field, that's for sure. I like asking this question of the seniors. If you could go back in time, what would you tell yourself as an incoming freshman coming in?
That's a good question.
Should it be like a game show and hit pass, and we'll come back to it later?
Yeah, let's go back to it.
What's your favorite memory here at Southwestern? Either on the field or off the field, or both?
I say on the field was probably last year when we beat Kowloon in overtime. That was a good game. That was a good moment.
Yeah.
That's all that can come to my head right now.
That's not a bad one. I saw that you're majoring in business and minoring in architecture. Is that still the plan?
I'm not minoring in architecture anymore, but I'm still a business major, yeah.
What are your plans after graduation? Or are you still trying to kind of figure that out?
Still kind of trying to figure it out, but I want to eventually get to the point where I can maybe own my own business at some point. Yeah.
Now, I'm guessing you have an extra year of eligibility because the COVID year didn't count. Are you coming back next year, or have you already decided this is going to be it?
I'm not sure yet. It's something I'd have to talk with my parents about and see where my head's at after, if that's what I want to continue doing.
Right. Let's see. If I can go back, I'll go back. I'll give you one more crack at it.
All right, let's go.
Favorite memory so far? I got that one. It was which one is it?
What would I tell myself if I had to go back?
Yes.
Okay.
So there it is. What would you tell yourself as a freshman coming in?
I'd say, because my dad tells me this all the time. My first couple years in college, I began to stress myself out a lot just because I was just so focused in everything that I had to do, with school and football, that I didn't really give myself a lot of time just to myself for free time. So I kind of end up worrying about everything else. When I'd say I needed to probably go and have more fun.
Right, just to enjoy the experience more. Yeah. And that makes a lot of sense. I hear a lot of guys say that, so it makes a lot of sense. Any shout-outs you want to give? Anybody you want to thank? Anything like that?
I want to shout out my guys, Jason Lund, Alec Gomez, Damian Gomez. Those are my guys. We've been here all together.
Yeah, you've been playing together for quite a few years. It kind of formed that unit. That's some of the senior leadership that you're talking about, taking control, right?
Yeah, we're real close. We try and do stuff all the time with each other just to create that bond. I see myself those are my brothers without blood. So.
Well, very cool. Well, thanks for coming on the show.
No
congratulations on the career so far, and best of luck, whether it's 5 games or 15 games remaining for you.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
Glad to be here.
We'll take a break. Chuck Tracy is unable to be here tonight, so you're stuck with me for Tracy's Corner. Coming up in the third quarter is going to be yet another senior. That would be senior defensive tackle Joseph Nielsen. Thank you to Malik McDonald. We've reached halftime. We'll be back for quarter number 3, SU Football Weekly on the Vype Live Network. And welcome back to quarter number 3 of SU Football Weekly. This is usually Tracy's Corner, but Chuck Tracy is away on a business trip tonight, or so he claims. That's what his text message said. So supposedly out on the West Coast. We'll find out. We'll bring in our next guest. That would be senior defensive tackle Joseph Nielsen. Take a moment to introduce yourself and let folks know where you're from and all that kind of stuff.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it for the opportunity for this interview. I'm Joseph Nielsen, also known as Big Joe. I from Episcopal High School in Bel Air, Texas, a little bit. Actually, basically Houston, Texas. Not much to say about me. Yeah, I honestly don't know what else you want me to say.
Well, we'll help draw it out of you here and
yes,
let people get to meet you a little bit better. We just talked to Malik about geographical rivalries in high school football, and you mentioned you went to Episcopal, which is in Houston. There is sort of a public versus private school rivalry in Central Texas as well. A lot of people here have heard of TAPS, Texas Association of Parochial and Private Schools. Episcopal is part of an 18-school, I believe it is, conference in mostly Texas, one school up in Oklahoma called the Southland Preparatory Conference, or the SPC. So talk about that rivalry a little bit between the public and when the public and private schools clash. We talked to some of the other guys on the show earlier on in the season about their different backgrounds, big schools, small schools, city, country kind of stuff. In this case, public versus private. What's that process been like for you over the past couple of years, kind of melding with guys from different backgrounds all across the state and even around the country a little bit?
Oh, it's been a tremendous experience. A breaststroker. Yeah, a lot of people are shocked to learn that I hold 2 school records at my school. My mom will hate me for this, but I love football, but swimming is number 2. In our household, everybody runs, everybody swims. My brother was a D3 athlete, holds school rings. My sister does water polo, does swimming. My brother pushes me every day because, man, they're tremendous athletes. My family, they run 5Ks, 10Ks. My dad's done Ironmans. And so it's been a very interesting journey when people look at me and go, wow. It was hard, it was challenging, but it was a rewarding experience. But it was a rewarding experience. But defense is the best place for sure.
What do you like more about defense over the offense?
It's less technical, and it's just go hit someone, make a play, be a part of the team, and just be your one of 11.
Well, what is it that attracted you to Southwestern University?
Truly the culture and the people I've met here, just seeing the campus, seeing the beauty of it. The academics are tremendous. It was really a school that I knew I could play football, but also push myself academically, and it was a great choice.
Well, to talk about the experience in general, I ask everybody this question: What's the experience been like? Did it meet your expectations? What's different about it maybe than you expected coming in?
Football-wise, I would have to say the speed of the game. People are moving fast. They want to play. They want to win. School-wise, academically, it's challenging. You know, you have to sometimes after a practice or a long game, you got to stay up and you got to study. You got to write those long papers. You got to do what you got to do to pass those classes. But overall, no, it's been a great experience, and football and academics have really been fun for me.
Well, I've noticed that you played in at least one game in each of the 4 seasons here at Southwestern, but just 4 games as a sophomore, the 1 game last year. Kind of like with Malik, how hard is it to keep working when you're not getting to play consistently week after week after week and kind of get into that rhythm?
Well, every week we plan on getting better every single day and pushing ourselves to get 1% better every day. And whether I'm on the field or I'm not on the field, I'm going to push my teammates to be the best that they can be. And my goal is just to make sure that we're ready every single time to play an opponent. And when I'm on the field, I'm just looking to do my 1 of 11s.
And again, kind of like Malik, what are your expectations now for the second half of the season? You're going to start the season, the second half of the season at 1-4. What are your goals for the team in general and for you personally on the field?
For the team, to be honest, I want us to come together as a team. I want us to know that we can do this and that we are the Pirates and that we can win games, and we know what we can do, and we do our assignments and we do them correctly, that we can win games. And I know the guys in their heart truly know that as well. And yes, losing games deter us a little bit, but it's not going to bring us down, and we always come back stronger.
Now, somehow I think I kind of know the answer to this next question, given the emphasis you put on just going out and hitting people. So what's your dream player as a defensive tackle for the Southwestern Pirates?
Dream play.
Dream play, not dream player, dream play.
The dream play, honestly, I've had a dream about it. It was a scoop and score for a touchdown, but the problem was I tripped on the 1 yard line, and I ended up having to toss it back to Jason, who ran it in. But it was okay. We still scored, but yeah, I remember tripping. Sorry, it was kind of a nightmare, but it was okay.
I was going to say, is that a dream or a nightmare?
I'd say it was a nightmare, but you know what? We got the score. That's all that matters.
Did you put on the hit that at least forced the fumble?
Yes, sir,
okay,
I did.
Well, there you go. I mean, that's the main part right
yes,
there.
Yes, sir. Yes, it is.
Well, since that's a dream or a nightmare, it doesn't count for the next question. But what's your favorite memory on or off the field?
To be honest, my first win would be my greatest memory. I remember getting to change to offensive line, playing in the Callaloo game, going up, getting my first ever start in college, I guess in Belhaven, and just winning that game and just having that pride and joy in that locker room, seeing my teammates after our first win. I'll never forget that moment.
That's pretty cool. What are some of the things that you like to do when you're away from the field, when you're not playing football or studying in the classroom?
Recover. Physical therapy. 4 years of football really breaks down the body, but as long as I do my physical therapy, I'm doing pretty good.
Well, it's not just 4 years, I'm guessing either. You probably played a lot in high school, probably some Pop Warners, so it does kind of take a wear and tear on the body, doesn't it?
For sure, yes, sir, but it's rewarding. It's something we don't get to do a long time in our life, and we only have a short time to do it, and so why not do it 100%?
Was it a big adjustment going from the 12-minute high school quarters to the 15-minute? That extra 3 minutes is basically adding an extra quarter to each game.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's 3 more minutes you get to hit someone. It's 3 more minutes you get to have some fun with your boy. I'm going to scoot
away from you a little bit. I'm starting to get a little nervous.
No, it's 3 minutes you get to have fun with your boys out there and just really cherish the moments.
Well, what's the one thing that nobody knows about you that you haven't really admitted to in public before?
That's a good question.
I think we got another buzzer moment.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm kind of an open book. You can ask me anything. I'm transparent about a lot of stuff. I don't know if that's good or bad, but I'm basically an open book. One thing is I'm actually adopted. So,
oh, wow.
So I was born in Smolensk, Russia. My parents, they're one of the best people I've ever met. They took me in 9 months old, took care of me, pushed me every day. So
that's why.
I just want to say thank you to them. They're awesome. My brother, my sister, there's some people that push me as well every day, and so I really appreciate them for that.
Well, that's pretty awesome. What are your plans after graduation? It looks like you, according to the website, majoring in business with a minor in economics, if that's still the same. But have you thought about after you get out of school?
Yes, sir, it is. So what I do is I'm in an internship right now. I work for a company called Northwestern Mutual, which sells life insurance and investments, and it's something my father's done for 35 years, and it's something I've expressed interest in, and I've seen him grow a business, and I've seen him take care of people and really become part of a family there, and I want to do that as well.
Well, very cool.
Yes, sir.
Well, you kind of touched on it a moment ago, but any shout-outs you wanted to give or anybody else that you wanted to thank?
Yes, my family, obviously, my brother, my sister, my girlfriend, my teammates, my seniors, Jason, Keenan, Blaine, Alec, Damian, Malik, all of them. I really truly play for them, and it's been an honor to do it.
Well, thank you very much for coming on the show,
Yes,
and
sir,
for all you do
appreciate
for
it.
Southwestern, and good luck second half of the season.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
All right. Senior defensive tackle Joseph Nielsen, our guest here in quarter number 3. We'll take a break and come back for the fourth and final quarter, and we will look ahead to Saturday morning's contest against Berry College. You're watching SU Football Weekly on the Vype Live. And welcome back to the fourth and final quarter of this week's SU Football Weekly here on Vype. I want to thank the rest of our sponsors, Bricks and Ale here at the Sheraton, taking care of all the folks that come out to the show each and every week. Stephanie Featherstone with State Farm, Georgetown Shirt Company, HEB, House of Gains, Ross and Champion CPA, GTX Wealth, Jersey Mike Subs, and the League Kitchen and Tavern. And before we talk about the Berry College coming up, Coach, I wanted to get your thoughts on Malik McDonald and Joseph Nielsen. We talked in the first segment about all those young freshmen. Here's a couple of guys that have been putting on the line for 3 or 4 years. So talk about those guys a little bit.
They're good teammates. They're passionate players and passionate people. As you can hear, they care about their teammates and their relationships. They care about their education. They're really good. They're really good in all those areas. Joe, as you talked about a little bit, has started on both offense and defense. Mm-hmm. And he's versatile. I know he loves defense. We're hoping he can finish the year there, but we're about one injury away from him going back to. But my point is, he'll do it.
Right.
If we have to have him go back to offensive tackle, he'll do it. He cares about the team. Team first guys. They're really good young men. Really proud of them.
That's pretty cool. Well, they're going to have their hands full. It's not going to get any easier for Southwestern this coming Saturday. The Pirates returning home to take on Berry College. That's located northwest of Atlanta, Georgia. That'll be a Saturday morning kickoff. Southwestern will come in with a somewhat misleading mark of 1-4, 1-2 in SAA play. Berry comes to Georgetown at 3-1 and 1-1 after suffering their first loss of the season on Saturday. But it was just 46-37 to powerful Trinity on Saturday. We've talked about all year about how good Trinity is. They're averaging 55.8 points per game so far. That's about all I know about them, but just that kind of scares me a little bit. Your thoughts on Berry?
They're really good. They're very good. This will be the fastest football team we play all year. They'll have the best running backs that will play all year. They have 2 tailbacks that are amazingly fast and quick, really, really good. They're across the board. Their O-line's athletic, their D-line's athletic. They're a fast football team. They're in a very advantageous spot in Georgia where there's very little small college football. And there's a lot of talent. And so they are able to bring in some players. They won 5 straight conference championships from 2016 to 2020. The game against Trinity, they led into the third quarter. Trinity was able to come back. It was a 7-point game, and Berry had the ball late in the fourth quarter, a chance to drive and tie it. Trinity punted it and pinned him inside the 5, and then Berry was called for, according to the Division III football world, a really controversial holding penalty in the end zone, which is a safety.
Safety, yeah.
So I saw something I had never seen before, which was an onside kick from the 20-yard line, because they had to immediately onside it from their own 20. So that game ended a little bit with a little bit of controversy on whether the game should have ended on that safety. Doesn't matter to me either way. I mean, I watched the film. I'm not going to go nuts on trying to analyze it. They called what they called. They were ranked 26th in the country last year. I think they're way underrated. Don't know why they're not getting even more love. There's not 25 teams that are better than them. So we will have our hands full. We will need to play well. Today in our team meeting, we talked about our approach to the game and starting the game strong. And then we're going to try to put our players in, the best position physically to give them a chance to do well on offense and do well on defense. They're a talented team.
Well, you had a great description. We were watching the highlights about how somebody chased a squirrel. If they're as fast as you say they are, how much emphasis is going to be on that? Staying home, staying in your lanes. Don't go chasing off after the shiny things.
Well, that's it. If we defensively abandon our responsibilities, as we've had a track record of doing, they're going to make us look bad. Mm-hmm. We have to be able to be where we're supposed to be, when we're supposed to be there, doing what we're supposed to be doing. That is going to be really, really critical.
If you're looking for little things, they have to travel a long way. They're just coming off a big game, more or less first place on the line in their mind against Trinity, one of the co-favorites in the conference. Does any of that matter at the collegiate level, or are these guys at this level able to kind of put that out of the mind and go back to work?
Well, they're all human, so I don't, we'll see how well they can bounce back from what's probably a disappointing loss. What will motivate them, though, is if they go – they're playing for style points now.
Right.
If they end up 9-1, they'll be high in the regional rankings, and they're still going to go to the playoffs. So they're going to try to demolish everybody and make them look like they're the best 9-1 team in the country to get one of the few at-large bids for not being a conference champion. This assumes that Trinity were to win out, right?
Sure, right.
That's what they're thinking. They have to assume, that Trinity's going to win out, and their goal now is to be 9-1. If Trinity does trip up, the thing is that Trinity would have to lose twice because it'd have that head-to-head tiebreaker.
Right.
So they're probably thinking, okay, we just have to go be 9-1, and let's start by playing great at Southwestern, and then just try to play as well as we can every week and make our case that we're one of the best teams in our region and we should be in the national playoffs.
And then the other side of the ball, I do think Southwestern is a better football team than the record indicates, 1-4. They've shown what they can do when they play like they're capable of playing. And I detected just a little edge of frustration and positive anger, I guess, if you will, from the two guys here tonight. Talk about that little extra motivation that Southwestern's guys have to show what they're capable of doing consistently throughout the course of an entire game.
Well, yeah, there's frustration by everybody when things aren't going exactly how you want them to go. The thing for us is we have to be able to play a game that we can be proud of. We can look at the
right.
film. If they're going to be better than us, you tip your hat to them and,
sure.
you go on with your life.
Right.
If we don't get in the way, if we don't give them our best effort and play the best we can, that's the thing that's frustrating. And these guys are just leaving meetings where they're watching film, and so they know, the players and coaches know that there's spots where we're not playing as well as we can or as well as we need to. And so that is a huge priority, is to make sure that, again, we're where we're supposed to be, when we're supposed to be there, doing the things we're supposed to be doing.
Well, I noticed that the high temperature on Saturday is supposed to be 67 degrees. We finally got our first taste of autumn here in Central Texas. Does that affect game planning at all? Is it affecting what you guys are doing in practice or anything like that? Or is it still kind of carrying on as you've been carrying on?
No, I think it'll be a refreshing change.
Right.
It's been, I don't think it's been quite as hot maybe for Barry's games, but I talked to their coach this morning. They've all been in the 90s. We've been, our last home game, it was in the hundreds. So I think it'll be a refreshing change for both teams. I think it takes a little bit of pressure off of, hydration. We still want them to hydrate well and do the things in preparation, but there's a little bit less of a risk of cramping and dehydration and some of those things as the temperature drops. Your body just consumes less water. It won't make a change or have an effect at all on how we plan for the game. It's just going to be just a little bit more of a, we'll welcome a little bit of fall weather if that's what we get. You
want to take your shirt off in the locker room maybe at halftime this week?
No, I guess not. Yeah, that's right. I did do that a couple weeks ago. It was hot. And my shirt was all wet. So, yeah, I wanted to cool down a little bit.
Well, are there any special events at the stadium coming up this week that you wanted to talk about or anything like that?
Gosh, nothing's coming to mind, so I don't think I'm forgetting anything. Our next home game will be our Staff and Faculty Appreciation Day, so we'll talk a little bit about that in a couple weeks. I think the big thing is it's an earlier kickoff. It's the big noon kickoff, as they call it on the Fox show.
Right.
So when the first round Division I game started, 11 Central, 12 Eastern, that's when we'll be getting going as well. So I think that'll be fun. The morning tailgate and get up, eat breakfast, go play football. Hopefully our guys can be energized by that. That'd be great.
Is that the first time? I don't remember any like that.
Yeah, this is the first time we've had an 11 a.m. start.
That's kind of cool, yeah. I had to double check to make sure I wasn't reading it wrong with my failing eyesight in my old age. Any final thoughts here before we let you go?
No, our challenge this week is to play the best that we can play, and the chips will fall where they will because they're plenty talented. We need to play a game that we can be proud of, and that'll be great no matter what it comes out as score-wise. We got to play to our potential. That'll be a really big thing for us.
Well, we shall see how it goes. So, again, Pirates versus Berry College Saturday morning at 11 o'clock from Birkelbach Field in Georgetown. It's going to be a beautiful day, so come on out to the stadium and support the team. And if you absolutely can't make it out, or if you're out of state or something like that, we'll have the broadcast for you. You can find the link on southwesternpirates.com or on Vype.com. So we'll also be back with you from Jack's Lounge at the Georgetown Sheraton next Monday night at 6 o'clock for another edition of SU Football Weekly. And I want to thank our guests tonight, Malik McDonald and Joseph Nielsen, our producer, Jack Farrell, our QA tonight, my better half, Christina Weber-Bertrand, our technical director, Suna Vincott, Coach Austin, Rita Hilly with the Georgetown Sheraton, everybody that came out tonight, and say hi to my mom. Coach used to say hi to his mom every week, so I'm going to say hi to my mom who's sitting back there. And, yeah, that's it. Just enjoy the rest of your week, and we shall see you Saturday morning for Southwestern Pirates football here on the Vype Live Network. Good night, everybody.
Hi, Mom.
Pirates fight for Old Southwestern, for alma mater dear. Pirates fight for Old Southwestern. To Southwestern will be loyal to the sun from the sky. And remember to the end that our fight will never die. Pirates fight, yeah we win. Ay. Pirates fight.